I think handling a level of adversity at that time, whether it was playing baseball or playing tennis or playing basketball or whatever it was, or losing and having to, I just enjoyed it, man. I really enjoyed playing. I loved getting dropped off at the golf course, and it sounds corny, but I really did, and I still do. And I hope, hopefully, I actually dropped Miles a note, and I was like, hey man, congrats, impressive. And I was like, enjoy it. And I think that's really important. Don't get numb to winning so much. Don't just be numb to it.
Welcome back to another episode of Straight Down the Middle-ish. We have a very special guest in the house. Sam, there's not many of us Central Florida boys played on the, a lot of transplants, but not through and through. Sam Ryder, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Happy to be here. I know feels like a long time coming. You must have really dug deep in the list here.
Oh, get fucked. Are you kidding me? You've been on every other podcast in the world except for ours.
That's not true. That's not true. But I'm stoked to be here. Honestly, I'm excited just to catch up with you. I haven't seen you much.
It's been a while, yeah. 2 different schedules. Cool little spot we got here, huh?
Oh, it's great. I love it. I would definitely be hiding out here a lot if I were just needed
it's a bit of a
to
drive.
Chill
it's
out.
a bit of a drive from the beach side, but it is pretty cool when
it's an office space. It is a hideout too.
Yeah. I mean, this is early and a long drive, but for you guys, for Matt especially, happy to do it.
Stop. All right. Okay, let's get on the current stuff right now. You're 61st on the FedEx, going into the fall. It was fall series, kind of a weird spot for you. Is there a ton to what's your goals going into the?
Yeah, it's a whole new schedule now, and
This is very different. Very different. So I'm kind of trying to gauge that and
You're
see.
trying to maintain. I mean,
no, not really. So I was learning about all this, and I was sitting down in Memphis at the first playoff event with JJ Spawn, and we were kind of wrapping our head around it. We were trying to understand things, and basically, so I'm talking with my agent and stuff, what am I playing for this fall? What is my incentive to play? I made the playoffs. I can't fall outside the top 125. Obviously, the schedule's changed, but I can get into this. So if you finish top 50, you're locked in the signature events for next year.
Right.
Is that what we're calling them now? Signature?
Signature, I think that's sticking for now.
So elevated designated signature.
Signature right now.
Signatures, I like that.
I like that.
Yeah, signature. So so those guys are in. 50 can't move. You're locked in. There's these swing spots or whatever. I read an article on the PGA Tour website basically. So
wait,
feels like the rules change every week too, by the way.
Yeah. So there's these swing spots, basically 51 to 60 after the fall, get into the first 2, not Maui.
Okay.
But Pebble, which is now signature, and Riv.
Okay.
So
huge.
Yeah. So that's I finished 61. So
51 to 60 gets you in there.
51 to 60 gets you in the first 2.
Okay. What does top 70 get you? Anything?
Just played in Memphis, made the playoffs.
Right.
More points, no cut. So there's a little bit of a buffer almost between, finishing 70. I finished 30th or whatever in Memphis. So I just got more points. It's going to be there's going to be guys winning the fall. They're 500 points.
Yeah.
No, it's not official the next season.
Right.
This is just an ongoing thing. But there's going to be guys making jumps and playing well, and so it was interesting because I'm like, do I get to take the fall off?
Right.
Completely? Do I just chill? But
would you want to?
No.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it either. I was like, no, our first event's in Napa. I always love going out there, and it's a place I've played well before. So I was like, what else am I going to do? Stay here, hit
you
balls?
just reek Napa. I mean, you do, dude.
Stop it. No, that's like you.
Hey, stop.
That reminds me of we were playing golf at Atlantic Beach, and you're like, that's your car. I had a Yukon. You're like, oh, I thought you have a Range Rover. I took you as a Range Rover guy. I'm like,
bro, when I got my Lincoln, he asked if it was a rental. Remember that?
I was like, yeah, is your car in the shop? What is
That's so funny. Maddie and another guy who beat the Freeze, Tool, they got their cars within a week of each other. He had a black one and Tool got a white one.
White Lincoln, I got a black one. It was right after that McConaughey commercial came out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's how do you not
Oh, trust me, I know. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, we have. That's right. Well sexed.
It is.
Like, who knows what the? Oh, okay.
Speaking of that, I don't know what I don't know. I mean, you're a good-looking guy, dude.
Speaking of that,
You're a good-looking guy.
where are we going here?
Are you still with Sherry? Is that your agent?
Yes.
Okay. Has she ever reached out to ABC for like The Bachelor or anything for you? No?
No,
It's
no,
just
man.
a shitty agent, right?
That,
there.
No,
oh,
man.
come on,
The
Sherry.
Would you take 6? Okay, if you were single and had nothing going on, I don't know what your deal is right now, but if you were, would you take 6 months off of golf? And let's call this your prime. You're in your low 30s. It is your prime right now. Dude.
No.
This is
I
prime
know where you're
earning
going with
season.
this.
Would you do it?
No.
No.
I've never watched
One episode.
one episode of The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. I really haven't. And I know a lot of my buddies are like, oh yeah, we're like, because it comes on Mondays. The girlfriends always want to watch it. Or Sundays.
yeah.
When does it come on?
I have no
Sundays or
idea.
Mondays?
No
Probably
idea.
a couple days a week.
I don't know.
now.
I'm a little interested in this Golden Bachelor though.
Oh,
like
that seems like a
The
reach
Silver
to me.
Fox.
Oh.
I love it.
The
How old
Silver
is he?
Fox, I'm like, what is?
55?
Yeah,
like,
it looks good.
They got my attention anyways, but no, I don't see that. That's just like I think that's just a really, like you talked about the agent stuff. That's really more of like a publicity play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm trying to find something meaningful and deep. You know,
Oh, God,
and this is in my new enlightened state of now I'm 33. Dude.
I
I'm
think
like,
you're going to find it in Atlantic Beach, so she's out there.
She's out there somewhere, swimming around Pete's. All right.
Well, we got the Pete's on this pod. This
Jeez
is great.
Louise.
I hadn't stepped there.
We're
in a-
getting
in a
off the rails
minute.
early.
Okay, I was digging through your results a little bit. You got a terrible track record in the majors, dude.
Yeah, I haven't played in
You haven't
any.
played in many.
No.
But I see you on TV all the time. It doesn't make sense to me at all.
That's his agent.
I
And he's
mean,
good looking.
I think when I
I feel like maybe it's just the last couple years, but when I hear Sam Ryder, I think of like the first thing that comes to my mind is solid player. Like
yeah.
it's not a fluke if you're up on the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, I've been like a feast or famine guy, and I was actually thinking of it driving out here, 40 minutes from the beach. I had a lot to think about.
Yeah, you did.
What is
Lot of
Matt
red
going to be
lights.
asking me? What can we talk about today? Bracing myself. But
what's
but
off limits?
I was
Should've
going
sent
through it.
some
I was like, this is going into still my 6th season, but going into my 7th season, which is like, where has that gone? And then, but that's talk about like on the top of my goals, like for the fall, like, and then I've never been a good goal setter.
Yeah,
Like, I kind of just,
that's okay.
I've just like enjoyed playing. I think the big goal was to make it on tour, but I never really saw a lot of it past that. But that's definitely the next step right now. And I feel like I'm in my prime and I'm kind of late as a golfer, kind of getting into the game a little later.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is, even though I'm 33, I don't have as much golf miles on my body necessarily. And I feel like this is my time. It's like, dude, you got to do it now.
Definitely
Like,
less scar
lock
tissue.
it in. Do it now.
You started at 16, so
Yeah.
It was
that is a
that
late
is a
start,
late
dude.
bloomer right there.
But not to get too off topic, but like the majors, like you said, like I played in a couple U.S. Opens. I had to withdraw from the PGA at Bethpage. I played the PGA at Oak Hill, shot $1 million. Yeah, I mean that's definitely something where first it starts with like getting in all of them, like right, like I gotta get in all. How do you
win,
do that?
you gotta win to
You
get
gotta
in the
win.
Masters.
You gotta win. You gotta get in the Masters, or you gotta make the Tour Championship. Just play really solid. I've been like I think I've played well and gotten contention, had second, third, like play like. I'm not afraid to be in contention when it happens. Like
Yeah.
I've missed a lot of cuts too. I haven't been really consistent. So it's hard to get to top 50 in the world or Tour Championship, or, if you don't get over the hump of winning, then you're not going to get into all these majors.
Have you ever been in a position late in a tournament where this is shitty research on my end, where you have told yourself, this is gonna be the one.
I think I felt that way a lot at Torrey Pines last year, because I led for like 60 whatever holes of the golf tournament.
That.
And I'm playing with Rahm and I slept on the lead every night. I felt uneasy, but I also was kind of like I just felt like it was my time. Like I felt like it was.
That's a big golf course too,
yeah.
man. But
and I played pretty well there for whatever reason. Not really a long hitter, but I played with Rory and Adam Scott in the file around there and had a top 10. And at that point, it just felt like it was my time. So then all the thoughts of like, okay, Augusta, like all these things, like they're right there. You're not really necessarily thinking just at the task at hand.
Yeah.
But one of the worst things that happened was like Max Homa ended up winning. But
you're saying that was the worst thing?
Well, no, I was saying I was playing with Rahm and Finau, and Rahm was in second. I'm like basically thinking, okay, this guy's number 1 in the world at the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I can hold this guy back, like I win this golf tournament, especially there. The guy's won the U.S. Open there, his first win there. It's his playground. He loves it there, and he struggled early. And then I kind of got into that mode of like Tony wasn't playing great, and then all of a sudden Max is like making a run. I'm like, and I wasn't really feeding off of any of that, and I learned from it a lot because I was like,
I mean, that's a powerful group that you're in right there. I mean, the crowds grow. I mean, you're experiencing all these new feelings. How much are you paying attention to how they're conducting themselves too?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to beat these guys, and I'm trying to focus on what I'm trying to do, like every single thing. But it was just,
you don't strike me as someone who's concerned about other people's games.
So you don't pay attention to any of that. I mean, I just feel like there's little nuggets out there that you can pull away. Like
I wasn't really trying to necessarily learn. I would do that more in a practice round with like watching the way Rahm, like been lucky to play a couple like practice rounds and stuff and see how he operates and see what he does in preparation, things like that. But as a competitor, we're all just trying to win. Mm-hmm. And just being in that position was, Rich Beam actually sent me a screenshot. You know, Rich, obviously. He's a beauty, but he sent me a screenshot and it was top 5, like most or number of rounds with the lead or the share of the lead this year. And I was 5th.
Dude, that's a great stat.
0 wins though.
Yeah, it's okay, man.
But I was like, it was kind of surprised by it.
Yeah.
But I think hopefully, to your point, those things are going to start to feed me, and I'll be able to just be more comfortable and take ownership of that. Like, you know, moving into that next step and trying to get in the majors and starting to believe like, hey, I can compete in majors, not only just make the cut, but you got to get in first.
Yeah, you do. Do you
That was at the end of the year stat right there.
Well, that's a great. I would pull a ton of
most rounds
with the
lead
or share the lead. Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Sounds like a Ryder Cup snub right here.
A lot of right. I would pull a lot of good out of that stat, man. I wouldn't look at that.
Oh no, I know you're right. I think we're always critical, and I'm definitely like that critical. So I'm like, I'm looking at this negative.
Do you have a stat guy?
I just hired a stat guy.
Who?
Corey Jess.
Is he kind of new out there?
He's newish. Yeah, he actually had a background in the NBA, did NBA analytics for some different teams, and he's newer, but he's been working with some guys, and he's in Austin, and so
I've always felt
it's an untapped thing for me.
No, I know, but it might be something that can put you over the edge in a final round. My first time I won, I had a bunch of looks on the West Coast to win that year. Didn't get it done. I didn't have a stat guy. Bay Hill comes around. The stat guy finds me early in the week, and his name was Mac Horton. He works with a ton of guys out there now. And he finds me and he goes, hey, we both liked, similar things. So I've had a friendship with him.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, you've been playing great this year. Listen, I bet against you every time you get in contention. And I go, what? And he goes, he goes, you've gotten to the winning score like almost 3 times this year because you're far too aggressive on Sundays. Mm-hmm. And it kind of goes back. And then I had this little game plan, and I went out, and it just changed my mindset going out on the first tee.
Yeah.
He goes, if you're in contention on Sunday, come find me in the locker room, and I'll have something for you. So it's like 11. I'm in one of the last couple groups. I'm teeing off at like 2. I see him in the locker room at 11:30. He goes, all right, here's how the first 3 holes are playing today. One is playing 4.3. So out of the first 20 groups that went through.
Yeah.
One's 4.3.
And it's only getting harder.
Yeah, exactly. 2 is 3.4 and 3 is 4.3. He goes, if you par the first 3 holes, you're gaining a shot on
Yeah.
the field. You have to look at it that way.
Yeah.
And it totally changed.
Shifts your perspective there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was like I felt
Like,
like
I
I was
don't need to
ahead
go
of the
out there.
game
Yeah.
if I parred the first 3 as opposed to treading water.
Yeah. And that's just a tip of the iceberg of what the stats and stuff can do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, and ultimately for you, that made things simpler and
calmed everything.
Calmed everything,
Yeah.
but it simplified it because the stats also, if you don't know what you're looking at or how to really dissect it all, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
And then you overanalyze everything. You want someone to be able to, look through these numbers, which we have a plethora with ShotLink and everything and all the.
Honestly, we could all do it if we wanted to put the time in and look at it.
I mean, I don't know if I'd necessarily say that, but yes, it would take a lot of time. Yes.
Yeah.
But
we don't have the time for it.
We don't have the time for it. And not to mention, it's just way too much. Like when you get out there, you need everything is supposed to make things simpler. And it's really interesting though, because it goes, like you said, day to day game planning, how to practice more efficiently, how to, there's just so much you can look at in terms of how, like, there's some stats. It's like, why am I, I'm 150th in sand save percentage.
Yeah.
That may be.
That means don't hit it in the bunkers.
That means don't hit in the bunkers, or that's like one shot, maybe a tournament
I'm
where
serious.
it's like work on your driver.
Yeah,
Because
exactly. And a lot of people will tell you if you are shit in some area, instead of going in there and grinding and trying to get better, just fucking avoid it.
Yeah,
Like,
avoid it or just be okay at it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's one of the things. Like a few years ago, Sneds made it to the Tour Championship and was like his stroke gained approach stat was like atrocious.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, oh, Sneds, we know he's one of the best putters that we've seen in the last couple generations or whatever. So you would just be like, man, this guy's short game. He's not a bad iron player.
No.
But he missed it on all the right spots. So the stat's almost misleading. You're like, oh, this guy's like Houdini. He's Sevy around the greens. No, he's missing it in all the right spots, and he's not short-siding himself like me. I'm like going at pins, shifting that mindset for you, especially when you're trying to win. Like, you don't have to go out there and do what you did the first 3 days to get the lead. You already got it. Now you can just kind of, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm excited about it. It's definitely been one of the things that I haven't. I'm at this point now, it kind of leads back to what we were talking about, where I'm not going to reinvent who I am as a golfer. This is who I am.
Yes.
Like, I'm not going to be DJ, Rory, Rahm. How do I maximize that? How do I get the most out of Sam Ryder and what I can do? And those are little things, like whether it's, finding the stats, trying to dial those little things in and just, I don't know. I'm excited about it.
I want to talk about your practice a little bit. So you're definitely one of the more methodical practicers I've come across. We're probably on polar opposite ends. You're
like, if I hit 100 balls, then I'm done.
And I don't think I've ever set up a TrackMan behind me. I don't think you've ever not set one up behind you when you practice. Yeah. Well, for the most part.
Yeah.
Are you, when you go, like today, if you're going to TPC to practice, but when you pull in the lot, do you know exactly what you're going to do, how much time you're going to put in certain areas of your game? Or is it like, I'm going to hit 7 irons until I feel totally comfortable with it and then go to something else?
It's closer to the first example where I'm going to kind of designate time, but I'm not like super anal about what exactly. That's something I've tried to get better at.
Yeah.
Because I used to just go out there and just hit
Wing
6
it.
irons, drivers, and then it's like, shit, I just spent 3 hours and I hit 0 putts, hit 0 chips, 0 bunker shots. So working with like Josh Gregory, he's like, I texted him this week and I was like, hey, can you send me a program? And it can be like, if I have 30 minutes, I might just spend 15 minutes on this, 15 minutes on this, and like, or 45 minutes, 15. I try and like structure it that way more so. And sometimes you only have, like, for me, it's easy. I don't have a wife and kids at home and things like that. So I have time, but I've been trying to make myself do the little things that I don't enjoy as much, like the putting drills, the chipping drills, the tedious wedge work, things like that. Because I could go out there and start hitting balls and just
it's more fun
and get
to
into
hit
a trance and just kind of like it's like meditation for me in a way. But I try to be better about that. But I think one of the things you're talking about is I don't hit a ton of balls. Like I was talking about this yesterday with Dempsey was on the range, and that's what Scott Hamilton said. He's like, oh yeah,
Shout
man,
out
like,
Jordan Dempsey.
Yeah,
Jordan Dempsey or Todd Dempsey?
Jordan Dempsey.
JD.
Yeah,
Okay,
Jordan
Jordan
Dempsey
Dempsey.
at TBC
Yeah.
yesterday. He was like, yeah, this is why. And Scott Hamilton almost said the same thing. He's like, I can see why you're a good player because you're very meticulous about what you do. So I'm not really necessarily trying to, like.
Are you working with Scott now?
No, I'm not. But he
Oh.
just said that on the range. You were probably right there
Yeah.
as you were beating balls, like
Yeah.
just.
Gonna find it.
You
in
never
the
even
dirt.
regrip the club. You just rake it over, rake.
Oh, that's not true. at all.
DeMarco was always like that too. He was like, he hated hitting balls, so he was like, if I can just, all right, I'm gonna make myself hit like 2 buckets, and it's like, it's not. But I'm like, I
and
might
then
hit,
nothing changes.
Yeah, nothing changes. Or like I'll hit one bag, but I'll be like, I make a bunch of rehearsals, and
Was DeMarco growing up? Was he like one of the guys you looked up to a little?
oh, big time. He
Yeah.
was like
What course did you grow up at?
Heathrow Country Club.
Okay, yeah, that is
Yeah.
right in his backyard.
So that's where he was, and he was the guy there, and that was through the prime of his career when he was playing Ryder Cups,
Yeah.
President's Cups, and he was a huge, huge part of my development and my career. That guy had more belief in me when I was just kind of playing than I had in myself.
That's huge.
And to have it coming from a guy like that, like it honestly gave me goosebumps because he really kind of believed. He's like, I used to remember he'd be like, oh yeah, you're gonna be a can't miss guy. You're a can't miss guy. I'm like, dude, like I'm like trying to maybe go to Stetson, like, and I love Stetson, like, but it wasn't like, but he was a competitor. Like he walked on a floor. Like he proved a lot of people wrong, and he's
a gamer.
And he was a gamer, man. And he taught me some little things that he wasn't the kind of guy that's like, you need to do this. Like those guys when you play with them, like they're trying to just give you advice on every little thing. And you're like, Chris was not like that. We were just going out there playing, having fun. But there was a couple like tidbits, whether it was like how I hit my wedges or like distance control things, like just like kind of competitive gamer kind of little tips that just like are really important. And like also just the belief like that he kind of instilled in me, which is huge. And he's like a guy that I still talk to and was like, I wouldn't say a father figure because he was more like a kind of a big brother.
Yeah.
But man, he was definitely like just a guy I loved being around. And I didn't play with him. I've heard because he was such a competitor, like he kind of rubbed people the wrong way at times.
I can see that.
Because like when he was playing, like he was like gutsy and he was like, he didn't really care about trying to step on guys' throats or whatever. He was trying to win. I mean, he had that Northeast kind of mentality a little bit. That's where, because he was like from New York.
Jersey guy, yeah.
Yeah. So, but he was definitely really influential Florida Gator. So I know you.
Yeah.
You love your Gators.
I do. Yeah. DeMarco, for me, in 2005. I qualified for the U.S. Open at Pinehurst, and I was going to play a practice round with Chris, and he was still. This is still pretty peak Chris DeMarco.
Oh, he just lost a Tiger in it was a playoff.
And I was it was a pretty good time for me in my
at
college
Augusta.
career. I was playing well, and I remember playing with him in a practice round, and this is just naive and stupid on my end, but I remember at the time, after playing with him, being like, I'm going to be a fucking world beater out here.
Because I played with this guy and he's good.
Exactly, dude. It is. There's so many ways to skin a cat out there, and he just found a way to get it done, man.
God.
I mean, it was not pretty across the board.
Oh, my gosh.
But it more credit to him, man. I mean,
oh my gosh,
I have so much respect for guys that, like, let's face it, your genetics, they scream PGA Tour golfer. You're 6'2" and 180. I mean, that's ideal. Like Chris DeMarco wasn't dealt that hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I think the game's changed a lot, but he definitely would. Like, that's funny that you say that because you're like, because that you got confidence in a different way. You're like, this guy's contending for majors. Like, but you were a stud too. Let's not lie.
But also, you need that kind of like crazy belief
I think
in yourself.
nowadays too, though, you see all these guys coming up like from college, and they're all so good. They're
Okay.
like so.
What about
long,
this little?
So
What about this little kid that's at your course now, Miles?
Miles Russell?
Miles Russell, 14.
Wow.
14 just won the.
Oh, he's the talk of the town.
I
Yeah.
know he is.
Just one of the junior players.
Scotty just sent a video like congratulating him and stuff.
Yeah. What would your advice be to Miles Russell right now? 14.
Oh,
And he's clearly a world beater already.
my advice, man, you know probably what it is, and my advice is to just. It sounds really cliche, but just to try and like have fun and just enjoy it and not
Yeah.
like, because at some point or another, like someone's gonna win something. The kid wins everything, and he's like the nicest kid in the world.
Good.
And it seems like he's enjoying it, and like
works his tail off.
I was talking about
that's his
with
school.
Doc.
I mean,
like, it's amazing. Like he works hard. He's 14 years old, and he just won.
What grade is 14? 8th?
ninth.
He's polished, man.
got
His
a
hands are really
14-year-old.
good. I was talking to Ramon. He works with Ramon, and we were like, and it's hard to. I mean, the scores he's shooting at like TPC. I mean, for the most part, they're playing it back.
Yeah,
you know,
ish.
they're not ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not playing obviously the same conditions. But it's like, we'll see. I mean, it's to the point where he's pretty much beating every single person within a few years of him. It's like he needs to, I guess, try and challenge himself. Like, is he gonna go to college? Like, I mean, these are things he doesn't need to worry about right now. So my advice would just be, just keep enjoying what you're doing.
Well, I know a little bit about him and his. I mean, Ramon. He's been calling this for years.
Yeah.
He's like, Scott, this guy. He's starting to tie me. Like I can't let this kid beat me. And he's been playing with guys, 3 times his age now, his whole life, and. He's got a great team around him. I mean, his father's so invested, and his dad didn't even play golf.
Yeah.
That might be the
That's
best thing
huge.
he's got going for him.
And,
Right? I'm
and
dead
he's also
serious.
like, and he's not overbearing. They're great people.
Yeah.
And I
That's
play at
huge.
Atlantic Beach, and they're great to be around. And they just let him have fun, and he enjoys it. I play with him, dude. It would be like, it's probably a toss up. Who's winning at Atlantic Beach? We were talking about this.
He's
like
playing the
yeah.
tips.
he's
now.
going out there, and he's not going to shoot above 66 really.
He shot 70 yesterday.
Oh really?
My buddy played. Do you know the? God,
Well, that's probably
this
he's
guy that
probably
just moved there
hungover from the
Ver-
win. He was
from
probably
Ver-
celebrating. Really.
Yeah, maybe. Too many gummy bears.
He's probably
Mountain
He's
Dew.
probably still hungover.
So
from
when
the
I
win.
go back and think about like who was the best when I was 14, those guys. That's the one scary part for me. They don't.
The tie try.
They
I
hardly ever end up panning out, dude. It's like
yeah, Tiger.
peaking
Golf
a
is
little. Yeah,
tough
that's
to
different.
predict. It's the
It
hardest
is.
to predict, but
And I didn't have that route, so I can't relate to it at all.
I
I never won anything.
Our routes are very similar. Like I played more junior golf than you did probably, but I wasn't highly recruited. I walked on at Florida. Like I almost think it's better that way because you're old enough to handle the climb.
Yeah.
Like mature enough to take it all in and just go.
Oh yeah, you and we scream maturity.
I mean, we really do. Fuck. Central Florida, baby.
No, but you're right. It's I think handling a level of adversity at that time, whether it was playing baseball or playing tennis or playing basketball or whatever it was, or losing and having to, I just enjoyed it, man. I really enjoyed playing. I loved getting dropped off at the golf course, and it sounds corny, but I really did, and I still do. And I hope, hopefully, I actually dropped Miles a note, and I was like, hey man, congrats, impressive. And I was like, enjoy it. And I think that's really important. Don't get numb to winning so much. Don't just be numb to it. Where you're just now you only feel what happens if you lose. You're not even enjoying.
what are you learning for the future, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you expect to win.
You expect to
golf is
win.
the biggest game of failure there is.
It is, and you lose.
All the time.
Oh my, exponentially more than you win.
You forget you forget what winning feels like.
Yeah. So but he's at the level where he's, and for development, I mean, Spieth, all the best guys, Rahm, these guys all won
Yeah.
like crazy. If you're that elite, let's not get way ahead of ourselves, but there's nothing. What are you going to tell them? Don't win.
Slow down.
Don't win
Start
so much.
playing another sport.
Yeah. God, we haven't
as
even
long
met girls yet.
As long as you're enjoying it, then yeah, I mean, we'll see. That's what everyone says. They're like, oh yeah, I'm like, come on, man. That's true.
What's your favorite?
It is undefeated.
It is.
It is.
Untied,
God
never
damn it,
trailed
it
at the
is
half.
So
Yeah.
undefeated. What is your favorite tour stop?
Something that's near and dear to your heart. I love playing it or in Orlando at Bay Hill.
I had a thought. I don't know if it was a dream or what that you're gonna win Bay Hill.
Dude, that is the nicest, creepiest thing anyone's ever said to me today.
Today.
Dude,
Okay.
I actually love that story. I love that because
That would be sick if you
that
won.
would be sick. And I'm flattered right now. And I
writing it
remember
down.
when you won back to back.
Yeah.
And I always, every year I go there, take my picture of Matt, like hanging
And
on the banner.
banners, Yeah.
And my buddies were out there heckling you, yelling Molly Browns and stuff like that.
Was that your buddies? That's so good. Dude, I had one of the best ever. There was before I won. It was like one of the first times I played it. I had the rookie tee time, so I was one of the last groups finishing on Friday. And we're coming in 18, and it's dead. Nobody's in the grandstands except for the people who've been there all day.
Yeah.
And this guy who was hammered, and he goes, "Hey, hometown, put the bong down." It was so good.
You're like, and you hear it all.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the best tackle.
Derek and I lost it when he said that. Dude. I was like, that's
Derek
so good.
was like, goes to my buddies. He's like, you guys, one more fucking word, you're out.
dude,
Like,
Derek was the man.
He was laying down the law. He was making sure that didn't happen. But
I love that about the PGA Tours. There's certain tour stops where nobody is on the hole. You go to the Wyndham, and on the front 9, you can go to 8 and you can hear everything, right?
Not every week is like Phoenix.
And
No.
Speaking of that,
I love that opportunity to have a slight heckle, just one person. in the
there's
crowd.
an
You'll never
opportunity
forget
every
that.
week for
Yeah.
that. Every week.
There
Phoenix,
really is.
would you trade your hole-in-one for a win?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And let's just say, all right, a win at the John Deere or a hole-in-one
No.
at Phoenix. You're not trading that.
no,
Win-
I don't think.
A win
But-
at
but I'm like-
Memorial and a hole-in-one at Phoenix. That's a yes.
I'm trying to think what comes with it. Obviously,
3 years and a whole lot of
3
money.
years, a lot of money.
Yeah, dude, come on.
What a
I
drug
mean, that
down
feeling
the
had
road.
to be
I haven't- that's a tough
insane
question
going
'cause
through
I
your
haven't-
body.
Dude, it was nuts.
I
It was
bet.
nuts. It was like, I like the closest thing I can try and compare it to is like, not that this is who I am, but if you got in a fight or something, you're like got like that adrenaline rush. Like I remember my lip would just like felt like it was like
That's so
trembling
cool.
uncontrollably.
Yeah.
Like where like the camera's right here. I'm like, oh my god. I'm gonna look like an idiot. Like and then and then sitting there.
Yeah.
Because Brian Harmon still had to hit of all people. Of all people, Harmon was like, there's a funny picture, and I'd like to talk to Harmon about it because Harmon's got a big smile on his face, and he's got his arms in the air, and like we're like high fiving and stuff, and like Harmon was happy for me. It was just good to see him smile.
Right.
He smiles more after winning the Open.
Yep.
But then the smile quickly, like,
Oh, the
left
place
because
was
he-
trash.
he's got
the
a
place
hit.
was trash. He still got a hit. He's like, God damn. He's like, what is going on?
30 minutes to clear.
It
the
was like
green.
15, 20 minutes for sure. And I don't know if it was like Coxie that was there. He's like, so do you want us to like come over and like clean the stuff up, or do you want to hit first? He's like, clean that shit up. Like he wasn't happy. But going to 17, dude, like
How do you even hit that next shot, bro?
Oh my God. It was like, I was like,
Can we be done for the day?
the problem was because like at that point, driver was too much club.
Yeah.
Like I was like, if I hit driver, I'm going to fly the green.
What round was this?
This was
Third
Saturday.
round.
Okay.
the rowdiest round possible.
The rowdiest time. Because
I
we
mean-
were close to 10th, I think. I think that's one of the things people don't realize is like, this wasn't like Friday morning
Yeah.
or like Thursday.
This was peak.
Like this was Saturday
We
late.
all saw this
Like
live.
there was
We
only
were-
a couple groups behind. So we were like intense. So it was like, and Sunday kind of fades off a little bit because the Super Bowl is on Sunday every
Yeah.
year. So like it's not as rowdy in the afternoon. Everyone's kind of getting ready to party for the Super Bowl and they're a little hungover, but it was nuts. But so then I pulled a 3-wood out. I'm like, oh my God, like this, just make contact.
Where'd it go?
So far right.
Really?
I like hosel, like everyone's yelling, like, and I shook, like I made a par somehow. At the next one, I thought I was gonna chip it in the water. Like you can do that there.
Yeah.
And then 18, like I made like a 20-footer for par. Like it was, I was like so happy to be done. I was
What was your phone? Your phone had to be a fucking mess.
I didn't really
when you turned
look,
it on.
man. I didn't really look, but it was crazy because like having guys like Devontae Adams and stuff like that, like commenting, and it's like it was something I didn't look at the time, which was good. I think I got to like kind of appreciate and absorb it later.
Yeah.
But it was nuts. I was like, and then I kind of like got in my hotel. I was like, and then I was like almost overwhelmed by it all.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, like that.
Well,
like,
I mean,
just
there's so
happened?
much energy just pumped around that whole place by something that you caused, but you all kind of felt the same. I'm sure everybody, other people's
Brent,
lips were quivering.
How fired up was he?
Oh my God, he gets so much shit about that because he
was going
because
nuts.
the picture is like him jumping up and he kind of wrapped his legs around me a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know, B, he's like so like
he's such a dude.
He's such a dude. He's like the bro of all the bros, and he's like just like a Palatka boy. So it's like they're like, what? Everyone's giving him a hard time because it's like on magazine covers and stuff like that.
Feels like he did it too. I mean,
it was awesome.
A
It
shared
was
experience.
like it's just hard to. I think that with winning, you know, there's a build up to that, right?
Yeah.
Like something's gonna happen. I'm either gonna win or I'm gonna lose, but like something's gonna happen. At that point, it was like so spontaneous. So the rush was like that much more amplified because it was like it just went from 0 to 100. I was like 2 over for the day.
Yeah.
I was like just having like I was pissed off. I was trying to get back to even par. When you're like, you talk about like, obviously it does more for your career winning, like, and that gets me in, that jump starts me to doing all the things that I want to start doing in these next like 5 years or so. But that moment, it's never going to compare to that adrenaline rush. It's like hitting a game winner at Cameron Indoor or something, like a really intimate setting. These people are on top of you.
Yeah.
Like the beers were whizzing by my head. If it hit me, I probably wouldn't have felt it at the time. Like it was just.
Was there another one on Sunday?
Yeah, Carlos Ortiz made one on Sunday.
And it just felt like,
Doesn't count though. He's
At
on
that
the
point,
he's on the
though-
live now. It doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly. We erased it from the records.
Erased.
Erased.
But no, it's like we hadn't seen a one at Waste Management in a while, and it's just
It was
like
7
you
years, they
brought
said.
it back to life, and
Yeah.
it was a rad experience.
It was cool because I was like, that was one. I was like, this. I've not checked a lot of boxes in my career, but I was like, at this moment, this is what Tiger felt like when he was walking down the fairway, raising the roof.
Yeah, that was so
and I was
cool.
like, I remember being conscious that I was like, at this moment, I'm sharing this experience basically with him, which is a guy that, I mean,
yeah.
how much did he affect you wanting to play golf and things like? Tiger was a big influence in like, I just feel like
maybe more so
game
for
of golf.
a little younger than
I mean,
me.
yeah, I just feel like he, like at that, like we idolized Tiger.
Yeah.
Do you remember if you were wearing joggers when you did this?
I was not wearing joggers at the time.
Dang it. How do you resist?
Do you wear joggers elsewhere or just on course?
He wears them to bed, dude.
Like a gym trainer, yes, but like those.
How do you?
I wear joggers on a plane a lot.
Yeah.
Who doesn't wear joggers?
It's a
on
great-
a plane?
it's a great
jogger.
plane
It
pant.
is a great.
It's a
it is
travel
great.
pant.
Yeah. How does a debonair like yourself resist all the temptation out there on the tour? Is it? I'm serious. Is it tough? Like, do you have to keep like, you know, if you miss a cut on Friday and you're in LA, I mean, are you having a time Friday night?
I enjoy my life. I like to have a good time. I think people that know me well, they know I'm not afraid to have a good time. And
that's right.
I've definitely dialed it back, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, you know, at this point. But like one of the things I always say is like I don't know if I'd want to trade my life with like a Cantlay or like a Bryce. You know what I mean? Not to slight those guys, but just like my personality. Like
they're just better at golf than you are.
I
dude.
just but like but that's true.
But
they just like you know, there's no like a Victor Hovland, like the guy just won the FedEx Cup. He's like gonna go to Chipotle for dinner. Like the guy's the nicest guy in the world, but like I'm not going to Chipotle for dinner if I just like
right.
Where are you going? Let's say you win in Jacksonville. You're going to celebrate in Jax.
He's driving to Daytona and going to Molly Brown's.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, been a
All right, before
big dinner, you know, just like You know what I'm doing.
I know what you're doing. You're having fun. I know what you're doing. All right,
You're going to Taco Lou.
Before we get you out of here,
That would be fun if we rented the whole place out, had everyone there.
I'm sure Don can make that happen.
Yeah.
Okay, 61st right. You're sitting 61st right now. 62nd. Do you know who 62nd is?
Spawn?
That's right. So a little bit of a...
Yeah, and Schreiber. He's working with Schreiber.
Yeah, both of you are, right?
Yeah.
Your relationship with Schreiber is very it's you guys, I feel like you fight a lot.
No.
No?
No.
Like an old couple?
We've been like straight up.
But I love that. It's like a brotherly relationship.
Like, on the range. Schreiber's my coach, I guess, for people that don't know. But
he's the guy who coached Anthony Kim. I mean, he's kind of...
He's been around. He was a Ledbetter disciple. He was around for like Price and Faldo. He wasn't coaching them necessarily, but he's coached a lot from Brandel to like...
all-time human.
Wow.
Tons of... But he's a legend. But he's like a mad scientist, savant kind of thing, but he's just... But he's not the most organized. But anyways, we have such a close relationship. He loves his guys. And he's so loyal.
Yeah.
Like he lives and dies by each shot so much.
I've walked around with him
Like he
before.
doesn't take people on willy-nilly for a check,
right.
for an hour check. Like, and it pains him to give people lessons like for a corporate outing or something like that. He would never be able to do that for his business and stuff. But like, so when things are that emotional, this is my career and I care so much. And then he cares so much, equally as much or more.
He'll like walk off on you. Right?
Oh, we walk off, we yell.
I love that.
That is great.
I mean, we've definitely had, oh, you're doing this right now? Oh, all right. Like, and then it's like a standoff, and then like we're just like in our own like areas for like an hour or so, and then like we come back and it's fine. He said he did that with AK all the time too.
I believe it.
I mean, that's what when you're passionate about something like and you care that much, like it's hard not to.
Yeah,
like,
it's also cool too though that you two can recognize that.
He knows I
still,
respect. He knows he has respect for me, and I have the utmost respect for him. I would not be where I'm at without his help. He took me from, I talk about like DeMarco being influenced. Schreiber grabbed me when I was on the Canadian tour, and I barely kept my card on the Canadian tour. And then next thing you know, like I'm winning on Webb by 8 shots, like on tour. Like he helped me get there. I don't know if I would have made it or not. That's all, hindsight's 2020, but he definitely, I believe that he helped me get to where I'm at, and I wouldn't be there without him.
Does he still talk with AK?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is he
Oh,
the
yeah.
only,
If
is he
He's
the
like
only one?
AK, he's like probably is one of the only lines of communication in the golf world.
Yeah, and AK's reach,
has is
and
Adam.
AK's like calling, and it's like a no caller ID number coming up.
It's the most amazing, bizarre golf story ever.
Yeah.
I would love
I've
to just
never
see
met
him.
AK.
Oh, dude, we used to room together in amateur events, him and I.
Oh yeah,
The
I know,
Walker-
because Renner was boys with, because I'm good friends with Renner, and Renner was boys with AK, and AK, the reason he went to Oklahoma was because of Renner.
Yeah.
Because they were buddies from like junior golf and stuff. Jim Renner was So, like I've heard a lot of stories, but I never met the guy personally. But he's a dad now, and he's, I hope he's doing well. He's kind of through the grapevine helped me out. I think just in terms of like a mentality stuff.
Yeah.
Like just because that guy was like, he had that edge. He had that killer edge where he was like confident. I mean, look what he was wearing, like the belts. Like he was, he knew he was the best.
So I've got one AK.
Or at least he thought he was.
I've only got one AK story because I've only met him once. But Matty was playing in Boise, and Monday'd into that event. I think AK got a sponsor invite, but y'all get paired up in a practice round, and I'm looping for Matt, and it was the most fun I've ever had just watching golf be played. These guys bet on everything, every single shot for 18 holes, longest drive, closest to the pin. I mean, y'all just got done playing the Walker Cup together.
Yeah, we were buddies.
He's not afraid to bet. I know you're not either.
We
so.
both kind of again, we both like the same things, and the Walker Cup. It was the year we played it together. It was in Chicago. Our whole team was, I think Anthony and I were the only. There might have been 4 guys that were over the age of 21, and him and I were the only ones over the age of 21 that had a life outside of golf, and and the USGA would get us a limo bus every night, take us into downtown, and it was basically Anthony and I and an intern from the USGA with a credit card.
Let's go.
And that was it.
It's cool to see that, though, isn't it? Though, like it's
Yeah.
because you don't see that a lot.
No, I mean,
There's not a lot of camaraderie out there.
No.
y'all
It's
were
changed.
just coming out. Y'all just turned pro, and y'all were both just ready to prove everything to the world. And you and I, we, you know, the 18th hole out there, is it Crestwood, Ridgewood?
What is Boise's course called?
Boise, the uphill hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Well, Matt wanted to race me up the hill, and I was like carrying
While he's
his
playing?
bag.
At
It's like,
practice
he's like, I'll give you a 30-yard head start, and you got to carry the bag and run up the hill. I was like, why not? So here I am running with a staff bag up the 18th hole, and Maddie's like booking it from. You definitely caught me, and it was he never takes
Matt
a
likes-
bet that isn't.
Oh, he loves
right.
He loves
You want to
to
race?
talk about his
Do you like to
prowess,
race?
his athletic prowess.
It's amazing.
He's,
It ain't just talk, dude. It
It's
ain't
amazing.
talk.
He wants to race some guy that's on.
I mean, I think
local
he's
radio.
living a little bit in a world of delusion. Just, I know you're a good athlete, but I mean, not to the level that you think you are.
What level do you think?
Like you
I'm-
and Billy Horschel are in here talking about how good athletes you guys are. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
come on. We are.
Like go hang out with some real athletes.
I do want to talk
Would
about
love to.
Ryder Cup real quick. Get your predictions on that. What your thoughts are on the team, the picks.
Yeah.
and-
What are your thoughts on Justin Thomas getting a pick?
It was
Don't just go into this Grayson corner too and Team Grayson. All right.
Grayson corner.
Let's give us the real answer here.
no. I talked to Zach Johnson at Chipotle, actually, of all places, at Wyndham Championship, and I was like, dude, like this is interesting. And we kind of just were talking. Monahan was in there, like whatever. It was a meeting of the minds at Chipotle.
Monahan was in Chipotle.
It was a meeting of the minds.
This is fantastic.
It was a quiet space for us to talk. But anyways, I was like, this is interesting. See how this all shakes up. I'm not envious of your job right now with somebody. And he's like, yeah, like he's like, easy. I'll just go down the list. I'll just take, and he's like, but then you got that guy and you got that guy. It was, and I was looking at the list. I was like, this is tough. Like, this is tough.
He
but,
took the easy way out.
but it shook up exactly how I expected
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly how, like the guys to leave off, unfortunately for them were Keegan
And
and
Cam.
Cam Young,
And a
Sam
little
Burns with
Lucas.
his relationship with
Scotty.
Scotty, and then JT, he has been that like lifeline for the team golf. And for the future going forward, I think this is a blip in his career, right? Like this isn't, and you watch guys like Poulter and guys like, I think he's one of those guys that turns on that gear.
Right.
Like, and
I
he,
agree.
You don't think Keegan's got that in his
I
game?
think Keegan does. I just think that,
It's
like
been a
when he
long time
played
since
when
he
he
played.
played
He's
at
got a
Medina,
lot of
he was playing with Phil. Like who's he playing with? Like he's a great player, man. I played with him a bunch this year.
I hate that argument. Like, who are you gonna put Keegan with? Fucking anybody, dude.
I agree because he's such a good driver of the golf ball, but the putter was good this year, but it's not always been the best. They try and find. Look,
Okay.
I don't know how to be a Ryder Cup captain. I'm not-
Yeah, but we
but-
know that.
But you're fighting.
okay.
You're fighting
So-
over
but they're
a
talking
12
about-
and 13
but here's the
and
thing.
But
14.
putting, they think they hold in high regard, right? And
I'm holding
but the locker room, they went locker room.
They went
They
locker
went
room
locker
big
room.
time. I'm holding. Okay, if I'm showing up to the course on a Tuesday, and I need to pick a partner for a gambling match, all right, that's essentially what the Ryder Cup is match play, right? So we're going 2-on-2. And Keegan Bradley has missed the last 3 cuts. All right, I don't give a fuck.
You're taking Keegan.
I'm going to take Keegan just because I don't
He
need
does
him.
gamble with
I,
MJ and all
but,
those
but
boys
no,
a lot.
it's not about the gambling. It's about is form that important going in?
Well, you're making the point about
Justin. I know. I'm not. They're kind of the same for me. Justin and Keegan.
I think Justin is winning that matchup more often than not. That's what I think. But
1-on-1.
1-on-1, yeah, I do. I just think that I mean, JT's Ryder Cup record's
It's
pretty
very
dang
good.
good.
6-2 and
This is like, I mean, you can't compare JT to Tiger, but Tiger would be having awful years, and they would still bring him on because locker room. You need that presence.
Well, look what happened when they tried to pair Tiger and Phil together. It's like that team on paper should never lose, dude.
I think
that
this
was
is
a toxic
big
program that we had back
That
then.
was.
It was, but that just shows how important. Why did we lose to all these European teams? They weren't better.
Right.
None of those teams were better on paper.
They were boys.
They were boys, and they had the camaraderie, and they wanted to play for each other, and they didn't be, oh, sorry, man, or feel more pressure. They were freed up. Like, playing, like, and, like, I play with Doc in the Zurich. That's the closest I get to that kind of.
Yeah.
But, like, you feel pressure. It's easy. We let ourselves down all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy. I'm used to that. But someone else that really wants this, it's hard to play for them and feel like you're going to let them down too. Like, like, you never apologize. You're like, dude, as long as you're trying, like, I get it. Like, don't. But it's hard to play freed up golf. It tightens you up. Like, in that level, I can't even imagine. They talk about that as the biggest. I'm not going to speak on that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they talk about that like that is nothing compares to it in terms of pressure.
And what about Snubs from Liv? Bryson, DJ.
I mean, the only pick was Brooks.
Right, right. But do you think that? I mean, this
Bryson, I guess you could, but like,
But then the
talk
locker
about
room,
the locker room.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Brooks, I think actually like can meld into that locker room pretty well.
I heard
Guys
they.
like
I
him,
heard
and
they all asked the 6 that were automatic qualifiers. I heard they asked.
And even Scotty
them,
said,
"Do you care if?" And they were all like, "Yeah, we want him."
Okay.
Yeah.
Even Scott, they want to win, and even Scotty
Yeah.
said he's like, look, Brooks missed by.
Brooks is a perfect
incremental
example of
margin.
not, and he's a perfect example of not needing form. I mean, to pick that guy, and obviously he's 7th on the list, so they're going to take him regardless. But that's another guy where I don't care.
So
how
are you
he's
saying?
been playing.
I don't know what point you're making. Are you making the
I'm
point
kinda all
for
over the-
JT
I'm
or
ki-
for Keegan?
Well, I'm not making the point for JT. I am all over the map here.
He's just
but
done like Alabama.
Because
I don't like how I feel like.
you like the boys' club, basically. You think
No, I hate the boys' club.
No, I'm saying you don't like that. That's
bullshit.
why you got picked.
It's bullshit. What boys' club is there, by the way? Y'all went on a vacation.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
in a world in a system where there's no camaraderie really much at all, with the exception of a select couple, like it's hard to try and find that, you know. And I think Keegan, look, I really like Keegan. He's a great guy and he's a great player.
Do you
but like
think
he
if
has his
Keegan-
headphones in the locker room every day, and he's boys with Scotty Vale, and he
Oh,
just stays in his lane. He
oh,
loves his family. Like
oh,
he doesn't really.
He's not there to make friends.
He's not there to make friends. You're right, but like, you know, I think in that situation, like, you know,
do you think if Keegan campaigned as hard as Justin Thomas campaigned,
well, I think he
would've
tried. He
got on?
started to campaign some at
Who,
the end.
Keegan?
Yeah,
didn't-
which was like it seemed like coming like
Posting pictures of his bags. Still
that was
packed
after the
from
picks?
Medina.
That was after the picks
That
were
was?
made. Yep.
I mean,
He had that one teed up though.
like I said, I didn't want to have to make
It
that decision.
just felt like the squeaky wheel got the grease in this.
But you know, we'll see what
Somebody
happens.
had
But
to
it's
get
going to be.
stuck.
I
Yeah.
actually
You're-
think it's a massive. I thought what Justin did at Wyndham was super impressive, dude. Back against the wall, that chip he hit on the last. I mean,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? In that moment, knowing he had to make it. I mean, I know it didn't go in, but that was.
He was saying all the right things for sure. I mean, and I just think he'll be ready. I think he'll be ready.
But I think it's a big point in his career because this is the first sign of scar tissue
Right.
Justin's ever shown.
Jordan went through that, right?
Yes, he did. Yep. And
Does this coincide with marriage?
I don't know.
Sorry,
but
ladies.
it is a big
Big
it's a
distraction.
big spot for him. He's never really dealt with something like this, and if he goes over there and lays an egg and doesn't have a great thing, it's just kind of adding on
And
to
that's
that a
on
little
Zach
bit.
Johnson.
That is
Zach
tough.
Johnson has to eat that.
Yeah,
I do think I don't know.
The-
I want to pick America in this, but I feel like Europe's gonna.
really.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm all for them going 1 through 12. All for it.
Really?
No picks.
No more picks?
I think it would fix some problems
I think
too
6
with
is
the tour.
a lot of picks. 6 is a lot of picks.
If you want to play in the Ryder Cup, dude, you better go play some golf tournaments.
Well, that's
to
what
get
we had to
points.
do to change this so that USA could win. Is we had too
Guys
few
weren't playing
captains
enough.
picks.
Yeah.
And so these points, I don't even understand how the point system works, especially
I don't
when Will
either.
Zalatoris is still
Unbelievable.
just like 5 away from
Dude, we
12.
looked like a month ago. Will Zalatoris was 16th on the Ryder Cup list. Hadn't played
Wow.
golf in a year.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I really don't. But it's going to be like, I think Ryder Cup is must watch TV when it comes to golf. I don't watch a lot of golf when I'm not playing, but I love watching the Ryder
there's
Cup.
a ton of rookies
I
playing.
love watching the Ryder
ton
Cup.
of rookies in the Ryder Cup. And we didn't even talk about Cam Young, who might have been one of the biggest snubs. But
Yeah, but you talk about form thing. You can make an argument one way or the other for all of it, but and I don't know. He's also locker room pick.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Well, like you basically it wasn't between Keegan and Cam Young, or it was between basically I feel like Cam Young and Sam Burns, and it was basically between Keegan and JT.
Mm-hmm.
And between those two, like it just feels like the chemistry between Scotty and Sam Burns was just made it a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
And then you weren't gonna, and then so
I thought Paul's Tesori's relationship with Zach might help Cam Young a little bit. You know, they kind of run in the same circles.
Yeah.
But doing a little bit of television, I get to hear, like, those mics, they cut off for the viewers, but they don't cut off for me. I get to hear everything, pre-shot and after the shot. And
that's cool.
Well, whatever. But you do get to.
That's like
JJ Spot. First time I ever
peeking
did
through the
TV,
window.
bro. First time I ever did TV. Byron Nelson, JJ Spawn comes up on a par 3. It was like 15 or something, and he had just messed up the hole before, and he drops 30 F-bombs before he hits a shot, then hits a shot and drops 30 more. And I had no idea that they were blanking this out because he's still on the screen.
You're like, that's a lot
And
of
I'm
fines.
like, but they don't. But you also get to see what kind of how they conduct themselves on the course, the way they talk to their caddies, what they complain about, what they don't complain about, just those little things.
So what you
I could
get?
see
Get back to
I could see Cam Young being not the best locker room guy. That's where I'm going.
Like he was kind of questioning Paul and like chemistry.
But he's just his body language is, for as good as golfer he is, which he is freaking really good.
Oh my gosh.
He's top 5 strokes gained worst body language on the PGA Tour. I mean, it's not good. He needs to smile a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's okay. You're rich, bud.
I really don't know anything about him as a person.
Quiet
necessarily.
dude.
He's a quiet dude. And I respect it, but you're right. Like at the end of the day, it kind of makes me think of like I've been glued to this U.S. Open tennis.
Yeah. Oh, dude, how good is it?
Like watching like a guy like Alcaraz play, they look like they're like having fun. Like watch Ben Shelton play
Gators.
tonight.
He looks like he's having fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, when did we start like having so little fun? And like we've all been there. Look at the logo on your hat. Like obviously, like
I finished second that week.
Yeah, you finished second.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Was that at Trinity Forest?
Yep.
I know. It was like, but like as things amp up, like that's when you get the most pissed off.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. That's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, if you don't enjoy it when you're shooting 90, like you're not going to enjoy it when you're shooting 68 because like it just becomes more intense and you care more. So it's like if you don't have fun when you're, I don't know, but those guys look like they're having fun, man, and they're just like they're out there with an Arthur Ashe with thousands of people.
Yeah.
Playing prime time. Like Coco Gauff is 19 years old.
Dude, she's gonna be. I mean,
They look
it'll
like
be
they're having
interesting to
fun.
see how
Sabalenka's gonna
she
freaking
settles in. Because
Stomp a hole in her the next match.
Did Sabalenka end up winning?
Yeah.
I didn't even see.
2 tie breaks the last 2 sets.
Oh my god.
She lost the first set 6-0,
I saw that.
which is misleading in tennis. I mean, let's be real.
But she was dominating. And I went to bed because I had to get up so early to come on this podcast.
to drive over here.
I thought this was gonna be like a happy hour
You know,
situation. That's what I told
you
Matt.
know-
I was like, I thought we were doing this like happy hour or something.
Billy takes the helicopter over here when he comes.
Yeah, he's been a guest 7 times, and this is my first trip,
No, he hasn't.
and
He's
I'll
been
never be
once.
back.
he did have a 2-parter. We talked for like 2 hours with Billy. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
And you've been
Billy
fantastic. Holy
talking.
smokes.
Oh man, shocker.
He's the best. All right, you got to go practice.
Yeah,
Yeah, momentum.
coming
Hey,
in,
hey,
dude. That
hell
was
of a
awesome.
year. Was that your best year?
best season, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we're pointing upwards here, and
Yeah,
it'd be
whatever
fun to-
JT lost there to this year, I kind of picked up.
Absolutely.
Go get you a fall series win.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
That would be
do
real
it in
nice.
Napa, and we'll come
Do
out.
it in Napa,
we'll come out
and then you can
next
take
Monday.
the rest of the year off.
Yes.
That's
now you're
and
talking.
then go to Maui.
Just
for New
stay
Year's.
in
That's
Napa
kinda-
after you win, and we'll come out.
By
and
the way-
celebrate
Yeah.
with you.
I'll be interested to hear your answer. If you do win in the fall, tell me what's better after you play the Masters in Maui. Which week you like more?
Huh.
I think you'll be surprised,
Really?
dude.
Would you
all
take the
time.
next week
Yeah.
off
Well, you don't even have to win anymore. You just have to do the tour championship.
if
But
you won? Would you take the next week off, or kind of want to roll that momentum?
I think I'm a week off guy.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
Yeah, let's go.
No,
I
just
did-
one
let's
Napa.
go.
Yeah, I'm going to Jackson next week.
Well, I know we're gonna go.
I saw DJ do it, so I take a
I
week
know
off.
we're gonna wrap up, but that was kind of a funny story because when I won, because I haven't won on tour, but when I won on web,
Yeah.
like I pretty much already had my card locked up.
Pinnacle.
Yeah, in Omaha.
Okay.
And I ended up winning. It was a hard golf course, good, but one of the best we play. Won by 8, like locked everything up, like, you know, it was great. Went to second or first on the money list for the year, and I'm like 2 weeks off. I'm like, I'm taking 2 weeks off. This is great. And then I took my first week off. I wasn't playing golf. I was enjoying, celebrating. And then the next week, like I think Marty called me or something, and he was like, "Hey, Steph Curry's gonna play at Stonebray in this tournament. Like, we're gonna pair him with you if you want to play." And I had totally been planning on taking 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like play with Steph
Sick,
Curry. Like,
yeah.
I was like, definitely, yeah, I'll play. And it was awesome.
Yeah, I'll be there Wednesday
story
night.
short, like, dude, he fucking beat me.
No, he did it. Wait, for 2 rounds he beat you?
No, for the first day.
Oh my god.
And I'm like coming from like hangover. I'm like, oh my god,
I
like
remember
it just
that.
shows you golf. Like I won my last tournament by 8. Like was
Yeah.
just felt like I was never gonna play bad again. Then I go out there, I'm losing to about like an NBA player.
Yeah.
I'm like on 18. I'm like, that's when I had the realization. I'm like, holy shit, like if I don't make birdie here, like he's gonna beat me today, and I'm never gonna hear the end of this.
That's fantastic.
I don't want to brag.
I needed that next week off.
Before we go off air here, I don't want to brag, but Stonebray, my best 9 holes ever as a pro. Front 9, 28, parred the last 2 holes.
Wow,
That's some golfing.
came out hot.
With my ears pinned back. I mean,
Look out, boys.
yep. All right, Sam.
All right.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks,
You're the
dude.
best.
That was
Yeah,
great.
thank you guys.